Hi, folks, and welcome to July's Aches and Games Monthly, a regular check-in between two slightly older British friends talking life, gaming, and whatever else comes to mind. We've got a hot show for you this month, and not least because it's freaking boiling here in the UK, so please bear with us if you're watching on video. But we'll soldier on, and we'll bring you what we've been doing, watching, and playing this past month. Remember, if you want to jump straight to the games chat, or any section of the show for that matter, there will be timestamps in this episode, as there are in all episodes. Feel free to hop around. And outside of these episodes, please look us up. Come join us. Come say hi on socials. You can search Aches and Games if you can't find us. I'm Giles Nicholson at Giles Went West. Joining me as always is my good friend James Lutz. James, enjoying the weather?
Yeah. Interestingly, it's quite cool in Cornwall. We looked at the weather earlier and it's only like 18 degrees in Cornwall. It's absolutely baking already, so there we go.
Oh, yes.
We're stewing on our own juices in the study with the windows closed so there's no distractions, the fan off so it doesn't interfere with the noise, so we're just literally melting for your audio pleasure. There we go. But also, I'm knackered because I've been very early at work all week, so if I nod off halfway through, then please forgive me. And Giles has promised to prod me remotely, virtually prodding me. He won't wake me up if it happens. So I'm James Boy 1978 on X. No, I'm not. On PlayStation. That's that big white box I've got on it. And James Boy 78 with 4 random numbers on the other big black box I have with a grid on it. And I do TikTok and Facebook and the website, which we'll talk a bit about later, because there's more new things coming on the website. How exciting for everyone, including us. And also, Giles mentioned you can skip to various parts on the audio. You can also skip to the end. So if you're really hating it, skip to the end. We'll still count the viewing figures, but leave a 5-star review. So thank you. That's my advice.
Absolutely. Very good point, James. When you said, I think you said prod, but I was thinking of poke. I could virtually poke you. I was thinking about the halcyon days. I shouldn't have said that word.
Wow.
Halcyon days?
Yeah.
Halcyon days, there we go. Was that Facebook, early Facebook, or was that MySpace? I can't even remember.
That's what you could really do in Facebook in the old days when I poke people. A little finger, didn't it? A little finger icon. Was there a poke finger icon? Anyway, yeah. So I used to know you were been a bit cheeky if you poke someone and see if they responded.
Innocent times before everyone just hated each other on the internet. Anyway, moving on. What have you been up to this month, James?
Disappointingly, virtually nothing, Giles. So this is going to be very short indeed. What I'm doing is going to work, finishing off the decorating. So the builders departed for the last ever time the other day. Earlier this week, they finally finished. They were just finishing off the skirting and putting the bath panel on. So we got this lovely bath with the jetted bits and pieces, but it never had a panel on the side of it. So it always looked a bit naff, but now it does, and it looks all shiny and white and pristine. So we're all finished. We just got to finish redecorating the bedroom. So did a bit of caulking last night of the coving. Need a little bit of painting of the coving, and then we can put the bed back up and get back into our bedroom. Because although we have an ensuite on it now, we've been in the other bedroom for the last few months. So to get to our ensuite is actually a lot further to get to than our bathroom is. So it's not really much of an ensuite at the moment, but it will be as of next week. By the time the next show comes on, it'll all be finished and it'll be a distant memory. We still owe them like $4,000, but they've not seemed to ask for it yet. So hopefully they just forget that they ever did the work. So that was that one. So we did the decorating part. My other exciting part was a jet washer drive. That's real. Yeah. So that was like an ASMR video because I actually posted that on my Instagram reels of me jet washing part of the drive, and some of my friends commented that it was really relaxing, which it is because you can see it start off dirty and then you squirt and then it gets clean. So people seem to enjoy that novelty. So that was good. And apart from that, Giles, Giles not my son, blimey, Joshua, isn't it? Yeah, Giles is that guy over there. Joshua had his school sports day, his last ever school sports day at his current school because he starts secondary school in September. So we enjoyed that one in melting sun. He did well. He won the skipping race, and he was delighted with that one. So all good. I've done virtually nothing else, Sean. It's been an appalling month because I've just been at work and playing games, which is good for a gaming show. So I can talk about all the games I played later on.
That is good, yeah, and that's amazing. I can't believe it's Joshua's moving on to secondary school. That's gone quickly.
Nice. We also did his last ever summer fair on Friday. That was pleasant as well. We were happy because me and Sarah were the first 2 people to buy an alcoholic drink from the tent at the summer fair. We were the first in the queue. They hadn't even prepared. There was a Mr. Micklewhite mojito. Mr. Micklewhite's the name of the head teacher, who's been off with some kind of mystery illness for the last 6 months. but they named mojito after him. So they didn't know how to make the mojito when we arrived, so we had to wait there for 10 minutes while they looked at all the ingredients and figured out how to make a white mojito. But it's very pleasant. And that was our school fair experience. Our last ever one. Sad.
Excellent. Well, yeah, sad days, but exciting times at the new school. I'm sure he'll settle in and have a good time. And DIY jet washing and school fairs is the sort of racy content that people tune in for. So I'm sure our regulars are very familiar with our exciting months, but it sounds pretty busy to me.
Yeah. I did say you could skip to the end, so that was...
Yeah, there you go. Permission granted. Well, you might also skip mine, but mine's been a slightly different month, as it tends to be. Without kids in particular, it's frowned upon if I hang out at children's school fairs, apparently. So say the police. So instead of doing that, which sounds nice, we went to see Death Comes to Pemberley at the Mill. So Mill and Sonning is a very weird little sort of small theatre where you can also have dinner. In fact, they insist on it. You have to have dinner and theatre show together in a place called Sonning outside Reading. I don't know if you've ever been, James.
I've been to Sonning, but I've not been to the Mill, no.
Yeah, it's a bizarre little place, but it's quite fun. You're very, very close to the action. There's probably 10 rows of seats, roughly, all sort of tiered around a stage, so sort of three sides of the stage. And Death Comes to Pemberley was a sort of murder mystery, a bit Agatha Christie style, but written by P.D. James, I think, but set sort of in the Pride and Prejudice universe. So Pemberley is Mr. Darcy's estate, and so this is set after Pride and Prejudice, and there's there's a murder or a death of some description that goes on, and it's all quite fun because it's sort of characters that you're vaguely familiar with if you've seen the show or read the book or seen the film. But we rewatched the BBC Pride and Prejudice show as sort of revision for this for this play, and really glad we did because it was actually quite sort of deep into the different characters and stuff. You kind of had to know who was who. But it was really good, and weirdly, it was starring Martin Fowler out of EastEnders in his first role since leaving. So again, international listeners probably won't have a clue who that is, but it's a UK soap. Most UK listeners would probably hope that they had no idea what that is. If, like me, every time you turn on the TV in the evening, EastEnders appears to be on. So I'm sort of familiar by osmosis. But yeah, it was really good fun and a really nice evening. And we did back to back because the day before we'd been for a lovely dinner with Madeline and Scotty. So that was surprisingly hectic. 2 nights in a row, James. This is unlike me. Easily.
Yeah, 2 lots of dinners. That's quite impressive. Pemberley sounds like the kind of place that would feature in Atomfall, the game we talked about last month.
Very much so, yeah. I can't remember, there is a little village nearby called something else, but yeah, Pemberley's a sprawling estate, very fancy, but no radioactivity as far as I'm aware. Maybe Pride and Prejudice and Zombies is the closest that you'll get to that, which is also supposed to be quite fun.
Where did you go for dinner, Madeline Scotty?
We went to a place called Cozy in Woodley, because it was conveniently between us and we were all very busy at work and having a bit of a rough week. So that was very nice. Just a little Italian. Yeah, it's just a really pleasant little place. If you're in the area, check it out. Nice, friendly staff, not too expensive, and really good food. So that was good.
But not sponsored by them either. Just to know.
Oh yeah. Not yet, but I'll send this out to them, much as I'll send it to your builder, so that he can realise that you're home $4,000. And lastly, for us for the month, we went to see McFly at Westonbirt Arboretum. It was brilliant. It was genuinely really good. And we'd been to see Kylie, if you were listening last episode, you'll know, in the OT. We've now seen McFly at Westonbirt, which is beautiful and a lovely day, a bit cooler than today, but really nice and sunny. And they were brilliant. They play a lot of instruments. They were really good. They're sort of veering a little bit more rocky these days as well, so more in my wheelhouse. But they have all their sort of summery poppy type hits, which were really good on a nice sunny evening with a few beers, one alcoholic, one not. And yeah, highly recommend. So we've been to see Kylie and McFly, and we've got Stereophonics and Oasis coming up. So it's kind of the summer of music for us, which will be fun. So yeah, that's me this month.
Just the Beatles and the Rolling Stones to go, and then you're bang up to date.
I have seen the Stones, which was pretty good. The best hospitality I ever had. But yeah, went to see the Stones at the O2. Beatles, I think at least some of them were dead by that point. So didn't quite make it. But hey,
for fairness, last month we talked about Kylie's fashion, and he became a bit of a fashion vlogger,
correspondent.
Yeah. So what were McFly wearing?
This is a great question, James.
Thank you.
They were mostly wearing vests / wife beater type things. So it was hot. They were very energetic young boys, not young boys, old boys now, dancing around, jumping around the stage, playing guitars and drumming and whatever they were doing. And so, yeah, mostly vests with, I think Tom, lead singer, if I get it right, was a vest with a floaty shirt.
Nice.
And then I think the other three probably all had vests on, to be honest. But yeah, that's your... I'm still working on it, but I could see colours, but I'm just colourblind, so I'd get it wrong. So maybe we'll have to dial Hannah in for this feature next month when we talk about Kelly from the Stereophonics and Noel and Liam, if they're both getting on and turning up by then. Who knows?
Were you also wearing a vest, or were you not vested?
I was unvested, not to say I had my gut out. On display. I think I was wearing a polo shirt, and a radical departure, as anyone will see on today's recording. But yes, people around us were wearing some quite interesting things. So it was a good people watching day, as well as really fun. And yeah, really enjoyed it.
What we did ponder earlier is that the new Jurassic World film's coming out soon, isn't it? Jurassic World Rebirth is coming out this week, in the 3rd, which is a few days from now. Don't know what day today is. So it looks like 12, so we might actually watch it on the cinema. Don't know if I've ever watched a Jurassic movie at the cinema in the history of Jurassicisms. So yeah, we'll take Josh along for that one. Looks fun. It's got Scarlett Johansson on it, which always boosts the film interest by 1,000,000%. So hopefully that'll be good. So we'll go along and see that one this week. Be my first trip to the cinema for donkey's years. Josh goes more than me. It's pretty pathetic, really. So there we go. You going to see that one, or not your cup of tea?
It's definitely an option. I found so this is the start of the 3rd trilogy, I think they've described it. So
must be now, wasn't it?
first 2 were good, 3rd one not so good. First one of the 2nd trilogy I enjoyed, went a bit downhill. So yeah, I think they tend to start well, and I think I saw that this has got decent reviews, but I'd need to double check.
Yeah, but up and down on some of them, but yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah, but it's, dinos and, summer action.
Yeah.
What more can you want? But yeah, anyway, I'm usually the one talking about films, so maybe I'll defer to you and you can bring us a review of Jurassic World Rebirth?
Rebirth, yes.
Thank you. Next
Doesn't sound like a good word, rebirth.
No, I think they but we had our reboot episode, didn't we? Or remaster,
we did.
All that stuff. I think they obviously decided with the genetic modification-y stuff that they'd be clever, maybe. But what I think they're trying to say is, don't worry if you didn't like the last one. I think that's the not too subtle attempt to kind of start again. So yeah, let's see if it worked. Have you?
For marketing purposes, this one should be called Jurassic World. Scarlett Johansson's in it.
I think that definitely appeals to a certain market. Speaking of watching stuff, have you got any highlights from TV? Anything particularly good that you wanted to call out?
Very little. Just watching the same old rubbish that we watch every month. Criminal Minds has been back on, so we've been watching that on Disney Plus, probably. I always forget we pay for, and then it appears on my phone bill every month. I'm like, oh yeah, Disney Plus. I'm still paying for that. So, and also on Disney Plus, the next series of The Bear's out now. So the last one stressed us out quite a lot. As viewers, listeners will remember, because first 2 series are very good. 3rd series was quite stressful. Lots of stressful things were stressfully happening all the time. So we'll see season 4. Hopefully it's a bit less stressful and a little bit more enjoyable, because we really enjoyed the first series, didn't we? But it kind of went a bit up and down.
Yeah, I haven't even watched the third one yet. Although I've heard it's a bit of a sort of return to form, so that will be good, and I can catch up on the third one, knowing that I can soldier through it and get to series 4. Nice. I've got a few just quickly to talk about. Last of Us, I mentioned I'd started season 2 on Now TV. Now finished it. It's only 7 episodes. It was quite short. In contrast to the game, Last of Us Part 2, it felt like it went on forever in my experience. I talked about the second episode last time, so that's the one where the thing happens if you played the game. A pivotal moment in a ski chalet, perhaps. And there was a really cool kind of big siege, Helm's Deep style siege of Jacksonville, which I don't think was in the game and was awesome. That was one of the highlights, though, of the series for me, as was a very dark episode 5. That was good fun. Series went to the sort of horrible, vengeful places that the game did, so that was good. And episode 6 was a flashback, which was great. Unfortunately, episode 7, which was the finale, I can't read out what I've written here on my notes because I think we'll get struck for adult content. But yeah, oh my gosh, what's the opposite of stuck the landing? Faceplant, possibly.
Oh, okay.
I thought it was really disappointing, and I've seen a lot of people saying a similar thing. To be fair, throughout this series, I think they didn't do much, episode 5 aside, of Ellie being this kind of completely unhinged, sort of vengeful person, which I wouldn't say enjoyed from the game, but
No.
certainly I think it made it interesting. She was very unforgiving and also a little bit hard to take her side on things. Whereas she was, a good word. Yeah, she was. You're welcome. She was much more kind of the same from season 1, so that wasn't great. And then the finale. There's a bit, spoiler free, but there's a bit where she just goes to a completely new location, which again wasn't in the game. But she goes there, gets caught by someone, escapes very quickly, goes back to where she was before, and rejoins the game narrative. It's really weird. It's the sort of thing that you might write if you're 7, I think, as a story, And then she went to the aquarium, and then she went to the island, and then she found a boat, and then she went to an aquarium. You just think, okay, but what actually happened? Why did we have that detour in what was quite a rushed series? So, still quite interested for the third series because it ends really well, like literally the last few minutes, and knowing where the game goes. But that was a bit of a disappointment. So, sorry, because you haven't seen it, and you might enjoy it a lot more. So hopefully I've managed your expectations down.
My guess would be there's going to be 2 series relating to the game, and then you think it's finished, and maybe another 5 series tacked onto the end of it. But we'll see.
Quite possible. Yeah. The Last of Us, and then The Very Last of Us, and then seriously, there's no more of us.
As long as it ends with her playing a guitar, then that's the important part.
Yeah, there is some good guitar stuff, and there are some scenes like properly lifted from the game, and they're really well done. There's some slightly different things, and some of those are really well done. But yeah, I think the tone, it was just a bit all over the place. But and that last episode really left a taste in the mouth.
Was there 7 hours at the aquarium for no good reason? Was it the aquarium? No.
Yeah, there were hours everywhere. Do you remember? I think on the way to the aquarium in the game, she goes over the rooftops, and that rooftop section, I remember taking forever, and being really frustrating. Just because you knew where you were going, you needed to get there, and it could have been like one sequence, and it was about 20. Yeah, in this, she just basically almost teleports to the aquarium. It's really bizarre. As I said, sometimes they're really quick 3 things, and then sometimes, it's strange. See what you think. I'll be interested when you get to it. It sounds like it might be a ways away, so hopefully you'll have forgotten this conversation, and you'll be like, oh, it was amazing, and that'll be interesting.
Yeah.
Maybe.
We'll see.
Day of the Jackal, though, I'd highly recommend.
Okay.
Eddie Redmayne and Lashana Lynch, based on a book, I think Frederick Forsyth. But there was a 70s film. It's also, I'm afraid, on Now TV. It's just really, really good. It's about a hitman and someone trying to chase the hitman, which is Lashana Lynch. She's a detective of sorts, MI6 maybe, so spy of some kind, I don't know. She's very good, and it's very good, and it's also quite bleak because obviously hitman stuff can be quite lacking in moral integrity. Not that I know many of them, but I believe that's how it works. But it's just really well done, really well acted, really cool, really exciting drama, and what I put down, which wasn't a pun, a killer soundtrack.
Right.
So now I'll make it a pun because that's what it is. With like Radiohead and loads of really, just really cool choices of music too. So recommend that. And just rounding out the music, I've just watched a shed ton of Glastonbury over the weekend, which I've realised I really love. I really loved going there at one point until I got too spoiled and couldn't take it. And now I just really love watching a lot of it on TV. So, did you watch any, James?
No, my mum still loves watching Glastonbury. My mum watches it every year, whereas I don't, bizarrely. I used to enjoy Glastonbury, apart from losing my shoes one year in a muddy puddle, sort of trying to get between stage in the pouring rain and the mud, and then your shoe disappears and you kind of walking around trying to get it. But yeah, no, always a great festival. It's fairly political these days, apparently. But it kind of always was a little bit, wasn't it? It's always a bit protesty and blah, blah, blah. But yeah, lots of publicity this year. But my mum enjoyed it, so that's the important thing. I was going to say, just going back to the Hitman thing, always feels like quite a lonely career choice being a Hitman. Yeah. You don't really have any teamwork, is there? You don't really have meetings with other hitmen. I wouldn't have thought. You don't normally do jobs together. It's quite sad. Don't know how you get into it, really.
I think if you see another hitman, they tend to be after you, which is the problem. Yeah. So it would be quite hard to trust, I would imagine, in that profession.
I don't know how you get into it. There's no sort of degree, is there, for getting into hitmanery? So
no, did it not come up in your careers advice meetings at school?
Or did that jig cow form?
Yeah.
I came out as being a bilingual secretary. There's no hitman.
You don't know that. There could be a hitman. It's just you didn't get it.
Yeah, it's baffling. I put it down that I didn't really enjoy languages, and I came out of being a bilingual secretary. How on earth?
There you go. And why did you not follow this path that was set for you by some rudimentary early software?
Well, I kept applying for jobs as a bilingual secretary, but then I kept getting turned down due to my lack of language skills. Yeah.
Have a letter. I'm really not into languages, but this program told me, so
yeah. BBC Micro told me in the 90s. But also, I applied for a couple of jobs as a hitman and got turned down as well due to my lack of gun skills.
That's exactly what a hitman would say. You're trying to throw us off the scent. I like it. Well, having said that you didn't have anything to cover, James, we've between us managed to get quite far into the episode. I've also noticed I've got a before I start section, and I've very much started. So shout out to Craig Young, which was the thing that I meant to do right at the start. Craig got in touch and said some lovely stuff about the podcast. Really lovely message. He contributed his games of the year last Christmas, and then sort of disappeared off again. I didn't realise he was still lurking and listening. So hi, Craig. Really enjoyed hearing from you, and maybe we'll get you on the show sometimes. You or Scotty or any regular listeners who want to contribute, we would take that. But given we're at least nationally a podcast about gaming, should we talk about some games?
We've talked about The Last of Us. We've talked about Hitman, Giles. Behave.
That's true. Yeah, there you go. What more do you want, viewers, listeners?
Done.
We're sweating our butts off here for you. I'm knocking things over left, right, and centre, as you can probably hear. And you are here for your listening pleasure. So enjoy it, James. Give us some gold.
What we're talking about, games and stuff. All right, cool. Yeah.
Oh yeah, I didn't really introduce it. I just said let's talk about games. Give us some gold.
Okay.
Shall we start with the sub club? Shall I introduce the sub club?
Yeah, we do that, don't we? Yeah, cool.
Yeah. So and I think I'm chickening out because I did think we could really do the jingle for the sub club. So maybe from next year, maybe from next month. We'll come up with a jingle, but I don't think we're clever enough or rich enough to commission something, so we might just have to sing it. And if you were listening to last episode or possibly the Xbox special, you might have heard a little Easter egg. Both great episodes, check them out. But yes, it's the sub club. So they recently renamed former Game of the Month. We pick a game off one of the subscriptions, so PlayStation Plus or Xbox Game Pass. We play it for at least 4 hours to get a sense of the thing. At least in theory, yeah, I might have to confess. And this month's game was Bomb Rush Cyberfunk, which is kind of like a modern day Jet Set Radio or Jet Grind Radio. I've got the blurb, which I thought was a nice little intro. And then, James, I'd love to hear your take on this game. But apparently, you can start your own cipher and dance, paint graffiti, collect beats, combo your tricks, and face off with the cops to stake your claim on the sprawling metropolis of New Amsterdam. Does that sound like a game you'd like to play?
Not really, no. But yeah, no, it's quite an accurate description of the game, to be fair. That pretty much covers it. So yeah, we gave it a go. I was half looking forward to it. It looked like something was going to be quite quick and quite fun and low intensity, brain powery. And it kind of was. Some things I enjoyed, some things annoyed me a little bit, so I'm kind of somewhere in the middle. The things I enjoyed was the graphical style was quite funky. It was kind of retro, voxely, funny. There was no dialogue. That bugged me a little bit. So there's no people talking. They sort of made grunting, squeaking noises and some text came up. That annoyed me. I always hate grunting, squeaking noises in games and real voices. Put some effort in. The plot was weird. You kind of bust out of jail right at the start and then do some things and practice some skills and then have a little fight with some policey type people, but they're not policey type people, they're sort of prison-y type people. And then your head falls off.
What'd you do?
Yeah. And then, I mean, if someone threw a record at your head and your head severed off due to the power of the record.
It definitely had help, didn't it, to fall off?
Yeah.
It was not unassisted falling. There was some degree of force involved.
Yeah, very forced falling. And then you wake up sometime later, having kind of been dead. Because you had no head, obviously. When your head falls off, you generally don't survive it, traditionally. And you became back with a red cyber head thing made of metal. And then you start your story again. But obviously, you've lost all your memories of who you were before because you now don't have a human head with a memory in it. You've got a red tin can with no memories of things. But you still do have your graffiti talents because you used to be a talented graffiti trickster who was good at riding skateboards and stuff, like cool people. And you join a crew with someone else that you escaped from prison with, called I can't remember what it's called now. Bomb Rush, Bomb Funk, Boom 10 Rats.
They are the Bomb Rush crew.
Bomb Rush.
According to my notes.
Good. So you join this crew, and there's only 3 of you in the crew. The person you escaped from prison with and some lady who's always on her phone, bit of a plot bit there. And they teach you some tricks. You skate around a lot. You graffiti on walls, and that scores you points. So if you do lots of tricks on your skateboard or your bike or on your feet, then you can do lots of combos and do graffiti while you're doing stuff. And there's little spots you can do graffiti in. And then you race around the town doing different fun things. And then eventually you come to the attention of other crews. And then they challenge you to sort of not a rap battle, because there's no rapping, but whatever it is, graffiti battle, graffiti trick on a bike battle. And then some old OGs from the 80s come along and decide who's won. And if you win, you progress in the game. And if you don't win, you have to keep replaying it over and over and over again until you die.
Yes. And I think...
And that's where I got stuck.
Yeah, I was going to say, I think you've probably alluded there to what happened with your own journey. So I think your notes here say you got to the second one and gave up. Is that right? So
that's quite accurate, yeah.
Do you remember which crew that was? Because I've got a funny feeling I might have got stuck on the first one.
Yeah, so the first crew weren't that great. They were people. What
They were
were they?
kind of Frankenstein monster.
Oh yeah, but they did beatboxing with basketballs, didn't they? They had basketball stuff.
They
Yeah, I
did.
beat that one on like the 78th attempt. I beat that battle. I don't know how I did it. I did exactly the same thing every time, and the final time I got loads of points and everything at all, which is great. But then the next crew were some ladies that were quite cool, and I couldn't get anywhere near beating that one, so I gave up.
There we go. So didn't quite make the 4 hours, or did make the 4? You probably did make the 4 hours just playing the same bit over and over.
I was exactly 4 hours 2 minutes into it when I gave up.
Wow, there's dedication. Well, my confession is, according to the PlayStation stats that came up when I just checked it, thinking, did I squeak over 4 hours? Apparently, I didn't even hit 3, which is quite embarrassing for what's the word, requirement that I set out of 4. I will explain why later in the episode, because there's lots of other things that have distracted me, or 2 in particular. But I also found it quite frustrating, and I was really looking forward to it. You said half. I was at least 90% looking forward to this. Because I used to really like Jet Set Radio. However, thinking about it, I'm not sure how far I got in that game. I think I was just young and just was quite happy, just prating about, doing tricks, and kind of probably not getting anywhere. Which was kind of how my experience was with this, prating around, doing tricks, not getting anywhere.
Yeah.
I did get past the Frankenstein monster types. I got to the next area, but I was building up my cred as it was time to record just now. So slightly earlier record, or fairly early record, plus distracted by 2 other very good games, means that, I'm sorry I didn't make it. But I did want to call out one thing that you didn't mention, which was really cool, was after that first battle, there was this kind of psychedelic abstract world where you were like grinding upside down, and there was a bit more electro, the music. That was really cool. So, super stylish. Really liked the kind of funk, the Jurassic 5-y type music mostly. I liked a bit of variety in the music. But I found the gameplay a bit samey, and it didn't grab me enough to pull me away from the other stuff I was playing.
Yeah. I was going to say, me and Giles were quite edgy when we were young, weren't we? We were always around on our balls doing graffiti and tricks and taking other gangs and stuff on the streets of Stardust and wherever you lived in town somewhere.
I did have a skateboard. Did you have a skateboard?
Oh, did I? No, I don't think so. I had rollerblades at one stage. I think I used them twice and couldn't be arsed and gave up, like most things involving difficulty and coordination.
Nice. No, I had a skateboard. It had I was going to say really cool. I mean, it wasn't really cool, but it had a really cool like dragon on the on the bottom of it. And I lived quite near the uni as a kid, so there was lots of kind of non-road hard surfaces that I could go and kind of practice around at. Never got anywhere, never got any good, but very much enjoyed it, and also didn't really break anything either. So now that I'm not doing it, I can probably safely say that, which I'm not sure the people who are good, I think they throw themselves into it much more literally. That wasn't for me. I was very much a soft skater.
It's not good for your knees either, on reflection, I would have thought. It's quite painful, isn't it?
It's the sort of thing you don't think about when you're young, isn't it?
Yeah.
Look after your back and your knees, kids.
And all that graffiti as well contains chemicals, so breathing all that in is not good for you either. I won't encourage any younger viewer to get into battling other graffiti crews on a skateboard. It's bad for your health.
Or being decapitated. That was also
that's bad for you,
definitely. As you pointed out. Okay, so this is probably our first monthly game that we've maybe not hit the mark on, which is a bit of a shame. But oh, come on! I finished that game.
No, hit the mark as in it wasn't. I thought you meant hit the mark as in it wasn't great.
No. So, made 4 hours. I think I can't remember what I gave that. Did I give that a 6? It was was charming, but very slow from memory.
Painful.
But then I did improve your playthrough, didn't I? By sharing that there was a run button, which I think it's been, until you found that, I can't imagine how tedious that must have been.
Even that's more of a fast scroll button, though, wasn't it? It wasn't really a run.
It was. It was all relative, but yeah, what a game. Okay, well, it sounds like we've had other things distracting us this month. What else have you been playing, James?
Yeah, but lots of things. Weirdly, I got some vouchers for Christmas / birthday and decided to spend them last month. I think I talked about in our Xbox special that I don't ever buy Xbox games because we're always good on games on Game Pass. But on PlayStation, I buy some games. So I bought 5 games this month using real money / vouchers from various places that sell real games. So I can talk about some of them, but I'll start off with a game called Let's Build a Zoo, which is a game where you build a zoo, as you can imagine by the title. And it's quite old style, old school graphics and stuff. It's very like 90s looking. So like with Zoo Tycoon, it's very realistic and it's all aimed on the realism, how lovely the animals are and how you interact, all that stuff in terms of realistic. But this one, you put down little boxes, either a green box for a grass one or a yellow box for a desert one. And then you put some animals in it and you give them entertaining things to do, like little balls, which they kick around, or trampolines. So you get like a pig and it's just bouncing up and down on a trampoline constantly. It's very cool. Love it. So there's quite a lot of strategy to it. It's like it's a theme. Well, it's a zoo designer game. So you put in facilities and paths and toilets and research labs so you can research new equipment and bits and pieces. And you set ticket prices. So it's all the stuff you'd find in a proper zoo game. But it's just really charming and sweet and 90s-y. And the reviews are very good and it's very cheap when I bought it. It's like a tenner or something. And I've really enjoyed that. So I've spent a lot more time playing that than I expected to. So I thought it was going to annoy me after a while, but it's actually really good. So I'm still well on the way to being miles away from finishing that one. But good game. Nice. Very much recommend it if you want just a fun thing to do for half an hour or an hour every night. And yeah, I enjoyed it a lot more than I should do. Ever heard of it? Ever seen it?
I haven't heard of it. I think, wasn't there a film, Let's Build a Zoo, or similar, which I think is unconnected. But Pigs on Trampolines has me sold.
Yeah.
So.
There's a good chance the game is not called that at all, but I think it's called that. I'm picturing it being called that.
Okay.
So apologies if it's not called that at all.
Yeah, zoo related. Just look up Pigs on Trampolines. There can't be many games featuring them, but now there will be because it's a great idea.
Oh, but also one of the many cool things, you can splice animal DNA together, so you can breed like a snake and a duck together to make like a duck snake. So it's like a duck's body with a snake's head. That's really fun as well. You can do hybrid animals, which you don't often get in realistic zoo games. So that's a nice little feature there as well. So yeah, really recommend it to everyone. It's an 8.5 out of 10.
Be careful, James. This is how Jurassic Park started, don't you remember? we recovered some snake DNA from a mosquito and blended it with a duck. Pretty sure that's how it worked out. Cool, 8.5. That's pretty good.
Yeah, so that's my number one game. Why don't you talk about one of yours and I'll come back to one of mine?
Well, I think one of mine is also one of yours,
yes,
so I might go for that one if that's okay. Clair Obscur Expedition 33, which was on Game Pass, has been very highly rated. I think it might have just been knocked off the perch actually for highest rated of the year. What's replaced it, James? Do you remember?
I did know a week ago when I looked it up. What was it? Something interesting, wasn't it?
Is it Death Stranding?
No.
Oh.
No.
Oh. Damn, that was my guess. Okay, we'll come back to that. But it's very highly rated nonetheless. Yeah. And I had heard lots of good things about it. Not massively into turn-based RPGs, but I liked the fact that it had quite active turn-based combat. So you had to press various buttons, and you were quite involved. Yeah. You just didn't pick your turn and then let it all play out. Really, really enjoying this. We talked about it briefly last episode. Number one, I love it's made by a French team, and as you may well know, listeners, RPGs, there's a sort of subgenre called JRPGs, that are sort of Japanese developed or Japanese styled. And as a French team, this has been named a jeu RPG, which I think is amazing, honestly. So not mine, but I felt the need to share that with anyone who hadn't heard it before. Incredibly dark game, lots of death, but also very silly and very French, which I'm really enjoying. Apart from the character Esqui, who's like a giant pillow, he is super annoying and sort of kind of the mime side of French humour, I would just say. I just not very funny, I think. But there's all these weird things around the world called gesturals. It's very epic. There's these huge fights with ginormous enemies. The combat, I really enjoy. The combat is active-based, turn-based combat. But it's really hard. I don't know about you, James. I played it on standard. I played through episode one. Played through the what's it called? Prologue. Thank you. Played through the prologue. Played through Act 1, all on standard. Got to the boss at the end of Act 1, and I'd had some sort of standard fights, not even the boss battles, which had gone on for ages, and I'd ended up losing. And then this boss has 2 health bars just to annoy you. Having got through a long first health bar and then dying constantly on the second health bar, I decided to drop down to easy. But I really was enjoying the challenge on normal, but I don't think I'd have finished the game. So I've dropped down to easy and actually really enjoying it still. There's still a skill element to get the parries right, to get the dodges right. It was a brutal ending to Act 1. I don't know if you've got there yet, but there's a lot of darkness in that game. And that's actually a location called the Forgotten Battlefield in Act 2, which is just haunting and horrible, surrounded by bodies and stuff. It's exactly the sort of stuff we say we enjoy, all the darkness and death. But it's just really well done, very melodramatic, very emotional. And you can tell from my voice that it's really made a mark on me. So I'll pass over. What did you think, James?
Yeah, I've not played anywhere near as much as you have, seemingly, because I've been playing 6 other games. I played a lot of it at the start of the month. But yeah, really good. Like I said, the combat I thought was quite tricky at first. Quite hard to get grips with, so I dropped it to easy quite soon, just so I can get the grips with it, and I've been enjoying it that way. Yeah, the battle's been good, story's been good, graphics amazing, obviously. Even quite early on, you find lots of your colleagues dead lying around you in the first location you almost come to, and that's quite disturbing, quite haunting. But I've got to say, French games are bangers, aren't they, generally?
Yeah,
Plague Tale was very bangy. Astrobot's French, isn't it?
Oh, is it? I think so. Yes.
They all sound French when they talk about it.
Yeah, the definitely the leaders. I'm second guessing myself because I thought one of the previous ones was maybe developed by like Japan studios or something. But yeah, the lead is definitely French. Anyway, yes, it has that sort of
je ne sais quoi.
Je ne sais quoi. Gallic charm.
Yeah, lovely. No, really good game, very enjoyable, and characters are pleasant and quite deep. So interesting storyline, very different. And like I said, the kind of game that we should be liking, because obviously there's a kind of an independent company that's set up with not loads of people, and it sold 5 million copies in a very short space of time. So yeah, kind of goal for every type of game to achieve. Been a bit different, getting lots of interest in buying, and doing really well. So fair play to them.
Awesome. Do you want to do another one, James? I've stolen your thunder on that one.
I'd love to. I also tried out a game called The Precinct, which is an American, it's kind of a feel-good cop one. So it's obviously like games like GTA is done from the criminal side of things, where you're trying to evade the law, but this is very much like Hill Street Blues type 80s, 90s cop drama show, where you go out and just bust the baddies through all your shift. So you start each shift off, you get given a place to patrol, and then you respond to the incidents going on. There is there's a story behind it, there's a campaign behind it, which I'm well into, which is quite enjoyable. But it's fun. You go up behind a car and you track it and it starts speeding off, and then you chase after it and crash it into places, and then get in and chuck the person out of the car on the floor and handcuff them and rough them up a bit. It's just good fun. It's just genuinely not too complex. Just a police game where you go around busting criminals' asses for doing bad deeds. You get drug dealers, you get people having fights, you get people breaking in, you get carjackers and all kinds of proper low-level street crime. Good fun. So
Nice.
that's probably about 2 or 3 hours into that one. Again, that was one of my voucher games, so cheap and cheerful. Wanted to play it for a little while. I think it only came out a couple of months ago. Generally good reviews. It's not amazing, but it's like a 7 out of 10. Pleasant to play from time to time.
Yeah, is it? It's sort of top-down view, isn't it? It's kind of 3D modelled, but...
Yeah, that's the only annoying part. When you're driving a car, the perspective is annoying. You're kind of looking for an annoying angle, and it keeps feeling like you want to raise the screen a little bit so you can see a bit further forward. That's a little bugbear. Minor bugbear. But one of the fun parts is when you bust a baddie on the streets, you don't have to take them back to the cop shop. You can just send for backup, and then you just leave them handcuffed on the streets lying there, and you just walk away and move on to the next crime, and then someone turns up with a cop car later on and takes them back for you, which is nice. And all the evidence leads towards a big case that you're getting involved with. So yeah, you're a rookie cop and you're learning to train. Good fun. I recommend that one for a bit of low-level, easy, brainless fun.
Yeah, and like you said, it's not that often you get to be... I was going to say the good guys, but you did mention beating up criminals. Hopefully, hopefully no sort of police brutality element to it. But, you're on the right side of the law, which most of the time, like you said, GTA certainly, but really most games you're mowing down sort of morally questionable people, or with questionable morals, sorry. So, yeah.
And you get a proper police manual as well, so each crime, it tells you how to deal with it professionally and legally. So you can only use a certain level of force depending on what the crime that's been committed. So if you saw someone who's littering, you can't just go and whack them about a bit with a baton. But yeah, if they've murdered someone, then you can rough them up a little bit. So yeah, good fun. Again, I recommended. Good little game. Do you want to do another one? You've only got one more, haven't you?
I've got 2 more.
Have you?
So I can jump in. I'm going to go with a silly little one because Hannah and I, having played and loved Blueprints, and hopefully there might be something on the website one day to talk about that, we decided we'd look for something else, and having a random conversation about Fort Boyard, 2000s show, a bit like the Crystal Maze, but more French with Melinda Messenger and kind of crapper. It was there was a game which was described as an escape room, and it was I think £1.59 in the sale a while ago, and I'd decided I would treat myself. And it does have the theme tune, so that's one of the highlights. It's very old and very basic. I think even when it came out, it was probably quite budget. And most of the mini games are so just for anyone who isn't aware, Fort Boyard is one of those sort of off the coast of France fortified forts, little islands essentially in the middle of the sea. So at the start of the episodes of the show and at the start of the game, you kind of arrive at the fort and then kind of get taken in by the sort of master of the place. And in the game, you then and the show, you then have to do a series of kind of mini challenges to earn shields, essentially, to then go into the sort of final thing. And very much, if you've seen the Crystal Maze, it's basically the Crystal Maze. If you've seen Fort Boyard, it is that. It's like literally that, but in game form. And the difference with the game is that most of the mini games are really, really bad and really basic. They were quite funny though, because they were so bad, and particularly Hannah had one, because you can play 2 controllers sort of taking turns, where you for some reason had to cross over these like giant gambling chips, like casino chips that were rotating around. So your classic rotating platform type challenge. But you did you started off by getting spun round and round, so your character was really dizzy. So you're trying to control a sort of dizzy, clumsy character over these spinning chips. It was brilliant. It was so fun to watch, not least because I was getting very frustrated. And I was enjoying that immensely. And then I did a pinball one immediately after and said, I'm quite good at pinball. And then immediately lost every single ball straight down the middle. So she got her revenge. It's not a great game, but it was quite fun. We like the theme tune. We will probably have another go on it before deciding that we've got our £1.59 out of that one. And the search for a replacement to Blueprints continues, James.
Yeah. I mentioned a couple of quick things. Obviously, Dredge, I continued playing. We talked about Dredge last time, so I won't dredge it up again. Tish.
Nice.
Yeah, good. But I've got a bit further into it now, and I've realised that if you stay out too late at night, I couldn't quite work out what was going to be the issue with staying out too late. You've got a red eye that appears at the top of the screen, and it feels quite ominous and dark and scary, and rocks appear out of the ocean at you. But also, if you stay out too late, some big sea monster comes and just eats your boat, and that's the end of the game. So now I realise that you really shouldn't stay out after dark. You should find ports to go into. But yeah, good game. Lots of different challenges and little levels to complete in that one. So that was good fun. Continue with that one. I mentioned trying out Myst last month because Myst sounded like it was going to be a fun puzzle game. I tried it for like 4 minutes and it annoyed the hell out of me because it's so old and knackered. I was like, God, that's awful. So I gave up with that one. So that was Myst, written off. I didn't even put that on my list of things I played because I played it for literally seconds and was so annoyed by the perspective. I've forgotten the olden days on the Amiga and PC, you just had one view, didn't you? You sort of press left or right and it moved you around to one exact viewpoint and you couldn't turn at all. And you're like, oh my word, I forgot what old games used to be horrific. So I probably won't be going back to that one unless I get really desperate. So those two little ones. But I spent quite a bit of time on House Flipper 2, me and Sarah did together. Used to be a big fan of House Flipper 1. House Flipper 2 is similar, but more modern. And for those who aren't aware of the concept, you sort of flip houses, which is an American term for getting a knackered old house and making it look better and then selling it back off again. So, doing up a house, if you will. But this one starts off with lots of really rudimentary challenges. So you go into a house and you clean it up. Or like the first house has got like a badger's footprints for it, some kind of badger or rodent or donkey or something that's gone through the house and left footprints everywhere, so you clean them up with using different tools. So you've got the tool of a bin bag where you can pick up rubbish, like pizza boxes and the like, or you've got this scrubbing brush where you can scrub up little marks that are on the floor. And then you've got a selling tool that you can sell all the old crap that's in there to put nice new stuff in. And you've got a pick up and move stuff tool, so if stuff's been knocked on the floor, you can pick it up. But then you can also buy lots of stuff as you get into the game to decorate different places. You can paint walls, you can put up wallpaper, you can redo the carpets and all kinds of stuff. It's a really fun game. Me and Sarah enjoyed it. The one downside of playing it on the PlayStation is that you use a PlayStation controller. And the game, despite being House Flipper 2, is just as awful as House Flipper 1 in terms of using a controller rather than a mouse and keyboard. God, it's annoying. So most of it's great and fine, but when you're trying to place a small item on a particular part of a shelf, you can literally spend 10 minutes with a controller trying to get this item on the shelf. And me and Sarah are almost screaming at the TV with frustration. Obviously, I don't get angry or frustrated because I'm a very calm person. But even that was kind of pushing me to the limits of my tolerance. So there we go. So great game, unless you want to put stuff on a shelf. Amusingly, Joshua started playing it last week and has loved it as well. But he takes a different approach. So the game gives you up to 3 stars as you go through the level as to how much things you complete. But what I didn't realise is me and Sarah do it really neatly. So if you fit in the kitchen, we make all the cabinets line up exactly and put the fruit basket in exactly the right place. So it looks nice. But Joshua just gets all the units, dumps them in the room, and then it still gives you 3 stars because they're in the room. And then he just skips on to the next level. So we were killing ourselves with frustration. Joshua's like dumping stuff on the floor. He put a toilet on the ceiling, for example, and that was still fine. Don't know how you'd use a toilet on the ceiling, but there we go. So he has a different gameplay style than us.
He's literally flipped the house there, so it was right there in the name. That I love that for a number of reasons, not least because the idea of you guys taking a break from all your redoing a house in real life by playing a game where you're like tidying up and redoing a house.
Yeah,
that's like. Do you remember did you watch Gavin and Stacey, where the coach driver, Dave's coaches, he's driving them along the motorway, and he stops off at a service station and plays like the coach driving simulator. But just it's very much on that sort of level. But also, yeah, I could completely see a kid just checking everything. That's probably what I'd do in real life, right? But maybe this is the start of his own following in your footsteps of being a fancy property developer that you are.
So it's frustrating watching him play it, but the game loves him because he does it quickly and it gets 3 stars, and I have to leave the room because I can't bear for the kitchen units not to be exactly lined up, or the right way up, or even in the right order. Anyway, yeah, so good game, good fun. Definitely play it some more, but I just need to get over the annoyance of placing stuff on shelves. I'll probably just take Josh's approach and just chuck it on the floor or squish it against the ceiling. That'd be equally effective. So that's Fast Flipper 2. That was my next game. Do you want to talk about your next one?
Yeah, I'm just thinking, don't get him to help you at the next house renovation project if that's his tactic. So Player Obscure was one that had taken up my time, hence why I didn't really get much through Bomb Rush Cyberfunk. But the other one was Rematch, and Rematch has come out this month. It is on Game Pass or available to buy. I think it's about 20 quid on the other platforms. It's an online-only game, which usually is kryptonite to you or I. And I certainly have tried a few in the past and fallen off very quickly because I haven't enjoyed my experience with other people. Don't really like socialising. Don't really like people online in particular.
People.
But I love you listeners and watchers, so thank you for tuning in. It's a football game, but it's much closer to Rocket League than it is to sort of a simulation. So you can be 3-on-3, 4-on-4, or 5-on-5, so kind of small-sided game. It's very arcadey, but the key thing is you control one player. So that player does rotate around. So every goal that's scored, you rotate keepers, for example, you rotate positions. So you don't have to pick a particular position and stay in it, which is good. It's very much more the fluid side of 5-a-side or 3-a-side or 4-a-side. And it's fantastic. You do need quite a lot of skill to put the ball where you want it to. It's much less kind of automated than typical football games in my historical experience, but I haven't played them for a while, so it'll be interesting to maybe try one. And yeah, the 3-on-3, you've got a lot of space. It's a great way to start. 4-on-4, I think, is the sweet spot. 5-on-5, it does become a bit like, at the moment, a bit like a kid's 5-a-side game with everyone just chasing around the ball and not holding position. And that's where hopefully it can improve, because I really enjoy it. It's very much that like one more game sort of thing. You do get scored for things like passes and saves and interceptions, so you don't have to be scoring the most goals to kind of be the highest on the leaderboard at the end of the episode show. I'm trying not to cough, so I'm speaking rubbish. At the end of the match, that's what I'm saying. What I'd like to see is some kind of punishment for being a ball hog. It's just like a 5-a-side game. There's always at least one player who will not pass. That's annoying. But also as a defender and someone who, especially when everyone is charging forward, I do sort of quite like, holding a good defensive position and kind of intercepting people as they charge back this way. You don't get any sort of credit or points for just, holding a good position, shepherding them around, that sort of thing. So they are looking for feedback. It's a sort of ongoing game, and I'm really enjoying it now, but I'm very excited by where it could go because it's great fun. I'd really recommend it, James. I think you'd like it.
Yeah, do you have to talk to other people? Or...
No.
Oh, good.
No. You can, but no. I think one person has tried to talk to me or the team so far. None of that. So no, you can turn that off. You have 4 options in terms of a sort of quick chat, which are variations on essentially kind of well done at the up of the D-pad. Thanks. A sort of we've got this motivational version, and a sorry. And surprise, surprise, I use the sorry quite a lot, just like in real life, and in real football, but mostly in real life because, British. But yeah, you'll usually, when you play with a good group of people, there's a lot of sorry and thanks and good jobs and we got this, and it's all really fun and motivational. Occasionally you get put in a team with a complete bull hog, and then you notice that everyone starts using things like the good job in a very sort of sarcastic, passive aggressive way every time that he fails to pass it. I assume it's a they, but probably a he, fails to pass the ball. It's quite funny with everyone spamming the good job, good job, good job. So, no, it's fun. You don't have to speak to anyone. You can just press a button. It's if only socialising was this way, eh?
Yeah, I think that's a big thing that put me off of online games is other people that would try and make a conversation or insult you. Can't be doing that.
No. This is good.
Have enough conversation at work. I don't want anyone to get home. Bugger that. Anyway, so on the other podcast I listen to, the Veteran Gamers, they always talk, because Duke on there, who's American, he plays a lot of Rocket League and he loves the game, but he always has lots of abuse hurled by young people who seem to just come on there to vent at strangers. So if we can avoid that one on this game, it sounds good. I'll definitely give it a go. Maybe I'll compare it with some other football game to see how they match up.
Maybe you could. Have you got any left on your list, or shall we jump to this month's game?
I'm going to quickly whack off the last two, which is Gran Turismo 7, which is another voucher game. Only played the first few races, good fun. Haven't played a racing game for years. Obviously, graphically, it's superb now and plays really well and handles really well and looks lovely. So definitely into that one. And last but not least, 2 Point Museum, which is the next one in the 2 Point series. 2 Point Hospital I loved, which is a spiritual successor to Theme Hospital. Yeah, from many years ago. Bullfrog game, wasn't it? Years ago. Yeah, I love 2 Point Hospital. And 2 Point Museum is really good. You set up a museum, as you can probably imagine, in 2 Point City. You take on challenges in different locations, like on all the other 2 Point games. You can research and go on expeditions to find stuff to display in your museum. And it's just sort of a building game, but with a nice twist that you go out and explore things, and it's got the comedy element in it, like all the other 2 Point games do as well. So really enjoying that one. That was my final voucher purchase.
Cool. GT7, have you tried it with the VR headset?
No, not yet.
I think there's a VR mode, isn't there?
Yeah, I played it on the original PSVR. There was one game on there, wasn't there? Was that Gran Turismo? On the original PSVR.
Possibly.
That was really good.
Drive Club, I think. Was that Drive Club?
Oh, yeah. That made me feel like I was going to blow chunks within the first 5 seconds. Yeah. The first corner, I was like, there. But okay, so hopefully not as bad for this one. And the only other game we played in the house is Joshua Go Astrobot, made by the French company Team Asobi. Yeah, he got that for a delayed birthday present, and he played that for the first time yesterday and loved it. He spent a good few hours yesterday and it looks awesome. So I wanted to play that one since it came out, but obviously I didn't want to spend my own money on it, but now someone else spent their money on him, so now I can play it for free. Perfect.
That's amazing. Oh, it wasn't a present from you. It wasn't a Boomerang.
No,
you just wanted to play it yourself, so you're like, here you go.
Yeah, I think Sarah's dad got it for him, I think. So yeah, perfect.
Fantastic. Oh, I love it when a plan comes together. Very good. Right, James, seeing as you came up with the idea, which was excellent, and also trialed it just now, what is our sub-club game for July?
I do like to give little teasers throughout the episode. It makes it so much more rewarding when you get the big bang at the end. So we're going to do a compare and contrast, won't we? So we did one before we even called it Sub-Club. We compared the Chaos Engine with Call of Duty Black Ops 6, I think.
Very similar.
Graphically very similar. And yeah. So now we're going to do the same between Rematch, which Charles just talked about and I haven't played yet, and the AFC, not 26, 25. This year's one, because it's 2025. Listeners, not 2026. That came out on Game Pass last month on the Xbox. So that looks fun. Obviously, it's a continuous iteration where they update it slightly every year, and this year's one's meant to be very good. So, little compare Penguin. Compare and contrast between Rematch and EAFC 25. It's in the game, although it's not.
It used to be. It definitely used to be in the game, as did the FIFA license. But they've decided that they don't need to pay for that. So as we tried to tried to work out which version was actually available in the subscription earlier. We started off with the wrong name, then the wrong year, and we finally got their viewers. So we made it. Yeah, it should be fun, actually. I think comparing two shooters with the Chaos Engine and Black Ops was quite interesting, but they were very different. Whereas these are two fairly modern games, obviously, but they tackle football in a different way. And obviously, it is the... thank you. I didn't mean that. I should take the credit, but they're always better when you don't come up with them, aren't they? But also, it's the female Euros, isn't it? Coming up, so
female Euros, yeah, that's what it's called.
I'm gonna gloss over the Club World Cup because that's a complete nonsense competition. But it's the Euros for the Lionesses, and hopefully we'll have some more success. Although slightly odd sort of run-in with people declaring themselves unavailable and whatnot.
Yeah.
But anyway,
a few retirements, weren't there? But yeah, both games look good, so it'd be a nice compare and contrast. So looking forward to that, and we should give it a go for at least 4 hours this month.
At least
them. 4 hours each or 4 hours between them?
Oh, that's tricky. Well, I mean, we've established that it doesn't really matter anyway. But the whole idea, folks, was that we were trying to get enough of a sense of the game. So, as long as you do that, it's all good. And if you do have the subscription, do the same. Play along. Let us know what you think. That's the whole idea. We want it to be a participation sort of club. And that's why we picked something from the subscription, so that if you have one of those or both of those across the two platforms, you can join us. James.
Is Rematch also Xbox, Giles?
Yes, Rematch is on Xbox, but it's available on PlayStation, but you would have to buy it. I was trying to look up as we were speaking. I've got a funny feeling FC25 might have been included in, yes, I think it was one of the monthly games on PlayStation Plus fairly recently. So if you did nab it for free, now's your chance.
Yeah, I was going to say it's hard to convey how much time and thought we put into this month's sub-club. Weeks of discussion and negotiation.
We have been mostly melting in the heat at the moment. So, yes, for various reasons, this episode was coming in hot.
We do need a logo for Sub-Club as well.
A logo and possibly a jingle.
Yeah, I mean, the logo could either be a submarine or a GIMP mask, I was thinking, so I have to pick one of the two ready for next month.
Make it so, James. Make it so. Okay, we've gone fairly long, so it's been a fairly quiet month for news. I just wanted to sneakily use it. Yeah, it's convenient. Sneakily use it as a chance to promote our Xbox special, really, because rudely, possibly as we were recording, or certainly just after it, Xbox announced or gave more details, I should say, of their next console. It will be quite PC-like, I think was the inference. They talked about multiple game stores or storefronts. They confirmed backwards compatibility and being able to bring your games forward, which is pretty much standard. They confirmed a couple of technical details about it, and it was a partnership with AMD, which not very exciting in case you're nerdy like me, but it's intriguing where they're going. I think lots of rumours going around that they were maybe not so committed to the business, so that was good. That was what they came out to do, I think. But since then there are currently rumours circulating as we record that they're going to lay off a whole bunch of people. So it's never just good news in the Xbox world. That's the latest there. James, any thoughts about them rudely releasing the news just after we'd recorded?
No, I mean, the other great news is they said it's going to be Windows-based, didn't they, in the future? So
they did.
Great. Everyone loves Windows. Very reliable and epic platform, so that's really good news. And also, I was going to mention Jusant in a minute, because that's just come out on a subscription service, and Don't Nod was one of the developers that's going to lay off loads of staff, apparently, as part of all this staff laying off malarkey. They also did thing you didn't know, that game that you didn't like and I didn't mind.
Lost Records, Blame and Rage. Yeah, I don't think it's connected. I certainly don't feel a huge...
It feels more and more connected every month.
I'd like to think I'm not responsible, and no, it's really crappy news, and I've really enjoyed a lot of Daymod stuff. GSON, highly recommend that. I have played it already because it was in Game Pass, but it's, as you say, coming to PlayStation Plus, and you should play it. James, or any listeners, I would recommend. It's a sort of chill climbing game on a much less miserable sort of post-apocalypse than we're necessarily used to, and it's really cool until it hits a point where you really need to be able to see the color cues. And as someone who's colorblind, I had an awful time for a brief moment, and the rest of it was fine. So hopefully they've added a colorblind mode since I played it.
Yeah, no, I'll definitely give that a go as soon as it comes out. Annoyingly, though, being I've played 7 games this month and haven't finished any of them, it means I've got to try and make some good progress in those 7 games as well. Choose on.
Indeed.
And also Astrobot now as well, which is, jeez,
yeah,
too much.
And you've just committed us to 2 games for the sub club.
Oh, yeah. But, yeah. So at least 9 games for July then. Wonderful.
Okay, well, it should be fine. It might even be a long month, you never know. Cool. Lots of games coming out at the moment still. Tony Hawk's 3 and 4 remastered hits on the 11th. I was really excited about that, and now I've played Bomb Rush Cyberfunk. I kind of think maybe I don't actually enjoy like just going around doing tricks as much as I thought I did. I wanted to just quickly shout out Keeper in that Xbox special from the showcase. We talked about some games we're looking forward to. It's not for a while, but Keeper is the next one from Double Fine, where you play as a lighthouse. I don't know if you remember that, James, but that looks awesome and charming. And Double Fine are real magicians. If you've not played Psychonauts 2, I'd highly recommend that. So lots of good stuff coming out or on the agenda. Don't know if there's anything you wanted to shout out, James, before we go.
No, interestingly, it's 15 years of PlayStation Plus this end of June, apparently. So, which is why they've got some more games in July than planned, even though none of them particularly fascinating apart from Toussaint. So that's the one. And also, obviously, Death Stranding came out the other day, and we've never played the first one, but the reviews for the second one are awesome, pretty much. They seem to be really, really high on Steam, and every other platform reviews have been high 9s and 9.5. So I'll definitely give that one a go one day. Obviously, I won't pay for it because that'd be ridiculous. But yeah, at some stage when I get another voucher for next birthday or something, I'll probably invest in that one and give it a poke. You played the first one, did you? And thought it was a bit odd?
I have played some of it. Yeah, it's an odd game. I mean, Kojima's a bit of a auteur when it comes to sort of directing, and it looks stunning. The first one and the second one, I mean, they're getting amazing things out of that engine, which was the Tessera engine, which was made for Horizon Zero Dawn, so completely different style. But that's pretty impressive. And yeah, he knows how to cast. He's got a great cast. Interesting story. It's about sort of connecting people who are sort of quite isolated, so feels sort of timely, give or take a few years, and looks fun. Apparently the gameplay, particularly the combat, is much tighter than the first one. First one, you tended to avoid the combat a little bit. So yeah, it was really cool. That and the one I saw, just because you talked about it before, I think, James, you might have even reviewed it, was Little Nightmares 2.
Great game.
If anyone's not played, by the time this podcast comes out, that'll be on Game Pass. And if you want more reason to play it, go and check out James's review, because I think you're a fan.
Great review. Great game. Not sure which was better, the review or the game. They're both amazing.
It's the review of the review.
As you will know from reading the review, it's a dark game of a child walking through some dark places, doing some dark things and heading towards a very dark ending. And the ending is quite dark and quite annoying, the ending. But dark, in a nice way. Great game, play it. You'll love it.
Stick with it for the annoying ending, like The Last of Us TV show. I really enjoyed it as well. I highly recommend it. And watch out for the long-necked teacher.
Well, then they also mentioned some new PSVR 2 games coming, didn't they? To try and pretend that they still care about PSVR 2, even though they probably don't. So stuff like Hotel Infinity, which looks interesting. Don't know how that's going to play out, but looks fun for kind of a puzzly bit. Grit and Valor, which is like a World War II thing set in alternative reality of 1949, when history buffs will know that World War II wasn't still going on in 49. And you pick up pieces and move them around, and it's sort of a battle strategy type thing. Dreams of what's that game called? Can't even read me writing that. God knows. Dreams of a Vernal. Let's go with that one. That looks fun as well.
It's probably it's melted, hasn't it? That's the problem. Your paper's melting. And I just dread to think of absolutely disgusting sat here in the last few minutes. So we definitely need to call it a day. Go off and put those fans on.
I think it's a sweat dripping into my eyes because I can't see it at all.
Yeah, exactly. Well, with that lovely mental image for you folks, I think that's probably the show as we go to individually call off. Please remember to like and subscribe to the podcast and consider giving us a 5-star review. If you've admired our attempts to soldier on through the heat, we'd really appreciate it. If you just feel sorry for us, we'll take a sympathy 5-star review as well. That would be wonderful. Please check out the website. There's loads of good stuff on there, and there will be some more stuff about Blueprints coming up. I mentioned enjoyed that game, and I've got something in draft for the site, so that should go up soonish, maybe even before this episode. And why not come over and interact on our socials? We would love to chat with you at Aches and Games on our Facebook page or by emailing achesandgamespod@gmail.com. Remember to join in with the sub club if you've got access to FIFA 25 and or Rematch. We'll do that comparison next month. And James, take us home.
And obviously, so as not to offend FIFA, Giles meant EOFC 25.
Oh, did I do it again? Yeah.
Jeez, my word. But last month's episode was one of our most popular ones ever. So hopefully we can go from strength to strength. It's nice to be involved in that. Cool people that are getting into this podcast. So congrats if you do that one. And TikTok's really blown up as well. Still loving TikTok. So we get like nearly 1,000 views on our little clips, which is quite fun. And the people at work still come up to me and say, "Oh, I saw you on TikTok." I'm like, "Oh, cool. Thanks. Good. Watch the show. Come and listen." That's it from us. There's also a Atom 4 review, which I promised last month and still haven't quite finished, but it's virtually finished. So there'll be loads of new content on the website this month. So much to look forward to. It's almost ridiculous. And I hope you have a lovely month. I'm as hot and as tired as I've possibly ever been. Feels like I've just walked 50 kilometers into the gates of hell. And this is what I imagine it'll feel like. So have a lovely month. Hopefully next time it's a little bit cooler. And hopefully next time I'll have done some things. I need to plan some stuff now for July to make it look like I have a less tedious life for the podcast. Lovely. Thanks, everyone. Good night.
As James said, that's us for the month. And we'll see you next month for more Aches and Games. Cheers.
See you later.